determined? Because one of the things you said is that when somebody has been in a bad situation, the next thing that comes round definitely looks a lot better than, what they've gone through. But how can you be sure that that which is being offered to you is the next best approach?
Well, I think, like what I said about discernment, it is like Kenyans getting to another level, because that happens in the counties, by the way. And that's why there's a lot of, about half the governors don't come back. Because the people are near them, and the people can kind of, feel them and realize what quality of leadership they are offering. And I think we need to upscale that to the national level, so that again, and I keep on emphasizing this question of what is your history? If it's politics, what have you done? Some of them were with Moi. So what did they do? How are you different from, the negative people within the Moi regime and all that? So, and of course, the media, if possible, can give us more information about, whoever it is who wants to, be a leader. And we have to listen carefully, and we have to really, discern. There's a lot of social media where people are discussing candidates and all that. But I am sure that without that kind of level of scrutiny, we may not get very far with whoever, the people that we think will supply the change that we need.
Prof, you've been around for a very long time, especially in the political class and law pretty much. And Prof, I would give an example in terms of the kind of leadership that Kenyans want to have. I'll take you back to the county where you served as governor, Makueni. And I visited there and I saw what you put up, the sand dam, and what that has done to the people and the locals there. When you banned sand harvesting, we've seen the change, especially in the topography, agriculture in the area. Today, you talk about the region, the food processing in Makueni, what you started helping farmers and the locals. One would say, when you look at what the professor did, it has helped the local communities for them to continue growing, which then the one who took after you has continued with what it is you started. Today, we talk about a country and aspirations that would be there. If given an opportunity, what kind of Kenya would you want to see, and how would you solve, one would say, the problems that you face today, especially around fuel crisis?
Well, I think like the mindset that I had when I went to Makueni was I was part of making the constitution. And therefore I knew what the constitution, said should happen. And of course, as a lawyer, I said to myself, we are going to implement the constitution simple. So if it is corruption, we are not going to accept that. Therefore, the resources that we have will be preserved and used for, the people. I knew about the poverty in the county. So one, said we are going to work to make sure that we change that. And we listen to these people, because if they feel that you are ready to listen to them, they're also creative. They will tell you, things that you should do together. For example, they said in terms of health, they actually told us that when we go to Kenyatta and we have to pay, sometimes we can't pay, and therefore, if somebody now dies, then we have to wait to raise, Arambis and all that. And even within then, because in the level of hospitals in Makueni, they were also paying. So they said, this is a big issue. This is one of the issues we want you to solve. So I didn't know what the answer was, but there were professionals, because we believed in having people who really knew in each docket what should be done. So we put the issue to them, and they gave us a solution. They said that if every household pays 500 shillings, we are going to get the same sum of money as when people go and pay in the hospital. about 100 million. And then we add more. And we are able to now make sure that for 500 shillings, each household, they get, every treatment that, we offer, apart from a few things where they would have to subsidize. Like if it's, you want good teeth more than, you want some gold, you have to pay and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if you go to leadership to serve, and if you will not accept, you will not, as the leader, condone corruption, so that others realize that this guy, and even if sometimes your friends who do wrong, you tell them that you can't stay here. We have come here to serve. So I think it's the mindset. If you go thinking that this is time to eat, then nothing will happen. Of course, you will eat, but then the people will not be served.
Yeah.
So I think even in the past in Africa, like young Thomas Sankara, they killed him, but within a very short period, he did things that were not, which were not happening.
Yeah.
In terms of, for example, getting kids immunized, getting women recognized, beginning to really revive that country of the upright people. So I'm just thinking that we need to get leadership that listens to the people, respects the people, cares for the people. I say sometimes that in this country, Kenyatta tried to be a father of Kenya, but in the later years, he kind of dropped that. Moi also tried to be a father of the nation, particularly before the coup, the attempted coup, and he dropped that afterwards. Kibaki actually, perhaps, and of course one can say I'm biased because, he was a mentor, I loved him, he was a father, but I think he tried to be a father of the nation so that people feel secure. Securer, of course, the others, and of course he had his issues like every leader. Even when I was in Makueni, also I can't say that people did. Some people didn't criticize, say this and that. Huru was a buddy. You just he was a buddy, a nice guy. Now our current president. Maybe by the time we get to 2027 at the end of his term, I will make a